Welcome back to our pregame show. The Oskaloosa boys open the Class 3A playoffs tonight as they host South Tama County. Ryan Parker, the coach of the Oskaloosa Indians, joins me now. And the regular season ended on Wednesday with a win over Grinnell, but I think the fans got a little surprised they weren't expecting. That was the return of Cole Henry after being out 2 weeks with a broken hand.
Yeah, I thought we wanted to get Cole back a little bit before the postseason, just because we wanted to see how much he was able to do, and if he was able to go, instead of throwing him in the first game of the postseason and not knowing exactly what to expect. So all in all, it was a really good night for Cole and our team. Cole played some big minutes and ended up with 20 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, and showed that he's more than capable to play for us going forward.
How did he say his hand felt afterwards?
It was sore, but that's bound to be expected. But we practiced. He's practiced 2 days since, and he's good to go.
And Xavier Foster had a nice night as well with 27 points and 11 rebounds and 5 blocks and also 4 steals. And people may not be aware that Xavier leads the team in steals.
Yeah, he's sort of that defensive specialist. Don't tell him he sort of leads the team in steals, because he might be trying to go for a lot more. But what he does for us is sometimes he even doesn't show up in a box score. Everybody thinks about the block shots, but how about the guy that goes in the middle of the lane and turns around because he sees down there, and they just don't even attempt shots around the rim, and it allows us to play differently on the perimeter. And so, that stretch where Cole was out, Xavier really stepped up, as well as Ryan Yates, and we needed those two guys to step up because we knew it just wasn't going to be one guy.
The Grinnell game actually was close for 3 quarters. It was tied at halftime, and then you were up by 4 after 3, and then pulled away in the 4th.
Yeah, that's a little Hawkeye for you, Joe. I mean, there's teams in there. Newton, for example, it's a winless team, but they're playing people tight. Our conference has been like that for the last 5 years I've been here. You can't take nights off because you'll be beat. That's a good team, very well coached by Scott Sharp. We had our hands full, but again, that's a good game for us, because you win that one going away. What does that prepare you for in the postseason? So I thought it was a good game for us, good game to get Cole back, and a good game going into the postseason.
And now tonight against South Tama County, it's something that looks like a bad mismatch on paper, but then again, to use another cliche, you don't play on paper, you play on the hardwood.
Yeah, BC Moore has us as a 45-point favorite, and we know that's not sometimes realistic. They're 0-20 on the season coming in, only average 38 points a game. But our message to our team all week has been, you can't look at the record, you can't look at quick stats, because as soon as you do that, then you're saying this team's not very good, and then your effort's not there. So our message has been all week is the energy and effort has to be higher than it has been all year, because it's win or go home. And that's the mentality we have to take, and I think we have a good core of leaders on this team that'll make sure we play hard tonight.
And also, something that I've heard practically since I got here last summer was wanting to go back to state and take that one step further and win the state 3A championship, and this is the first step in that.
Yeah, I think that, we haven't shied away from that all year. I think we were a little hurt after that 4-point loss in the state championship game last year, and I think we learned a lot from that, but we didn't return a lot of players off that team either. So for us, it's just we got to continue one game at a time. If you start looking at the next game and then the next game, and all of a sudden you get caught up in that, and maybe your goals don't become reality. Our first goal obviously is to win this game tonight, and then make it to the state tournament. That takes 3 wins. So, like I said, one game at a time, and I think our eyes are still going to be on that big prize, though.
Any injuries or anything else coming into tonight?
Knock on wood, we sort of withstood the injury bug, and even last game, Xavier was highly under the weather and still had 27 and 11. Everybody's healthy for the most part. Obviously, Cole's hand probably still won't be 100%, but for the most part, we're good to go.
All right, best of luck.
Thank you.
That's Ryan Parker, coach of the Oskaloosa Indians. We'll be back at Oskaloosa for the opening round of the Class 3A Sub-State Playoffs. Oskaloosa taking on South Tama County. We'll be back in 2 minutes after this on KBUE FM and the No Coast Network.